I joined St Mary's School when it was still the combined infant and juniors in Bourne Road. There was hardly any playground, so the children didn't have the freedom that you have here, the space you have here to run around or play.
There wasn't any green or anything there, so playtime was like concrete at the back of the building.
And eventually, about a year later, the juniors moved up to this building, which was nothing like the size of the one today, but nevertheless it was more room than the juniors had ever had. And you now have the combined school again.
I went to what is now known as Old Bexley, but when I went, the infants and juniors were two separate schools. So the infants was called St Mary's and St John's, and the juniors was called Parkwood.
When I first went there in 1967, the school was brand new. It smelt of new paint. The place was very bright at the time, and just a nice new environment to go to.
I went to Old Bexley CofE primary school. The teacher used it's like a huge TV, but it's capable of doing what like a laptop and an iPad does basically. So you can run all the PowerPoint lessons on there. You can like draw on it and everything.
When I went there, it was chalk and a blackboard. Whiteboards hadn't even been invented, and we wrote in exercise books. We sat in rows, so there was desks with a teacher in front.
We had wooden desks that were either in singular or double ones, and they lifted up so any of your belongings went into the desk. I distinctly remember there was a child when I was in year 3, and he basically left his lunch festering for a very long time in this desk, and when the teacher found it, it was growing mould. And then she went off and decided that our science that term was going to be discovering and learning about how mould grew and penicillin. So I think there was a lot more flexibility in the lessons in those days. We could go off on a tangent and do what we wanted.
We used to have to write a diary every day. Didn't we? First thing in the morning you'd go in and you'd write your diary of what you'd done the day before or whatever. My teacher, she was good on the piano, so we'd often sort of, she'd play the piano and we'd sing.
We used to have to chant our times tables, and every Friday there was a times tables test, and every Friday there was a spellings test.
Sports day was on the field where the infant school is now.
You all sat in your houses on the field, and you all you carried your chairs out, and then there were some benches sat at the front, and it was all sat in rows, so the children would sit on like the far side of the fence, and the parents would all sit opposite, and it was very competitive. The only one that was sort of fun that I remember was the catch the train race, where you run along and put bits of costume on us to run up and down.
Playtime was a laugh. It was much longer than it is now. Now that I'm in secondary school, it was much longer. And we played lots of playground games on the playground, like Bulldog, which would always get banned, so we'd just call it a different name. We
did play the typical Bulldog game that gets banned quite often in primary schools now.
There was somebody in the middle and you used to have to get past them, and that was very good.
French skipping, so with the elastic, I remember playing that quite a lot with my friends as well.
We were taken in a big, shiny red coach to the Crooklog swimming baths. Again, when that just first opened.
We used to do trips like to the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum. I remember going to see Tutankhamun when that all came over to the UK.
We went to the Canada Dry fizzy lemonade factory in Crayford. I remember this big factory, and we also went to Ford's, to the Ford factory in Dagenham.
We went to a theatre in year 4 to watch Horrible Histories. That was really good. I think it was up in London. We all got ice cream and watched it, and we all got to sit next to our mates. We went to bowls in year 6, which was really fun. Usually you'd stay there for like a week, but we only could stay there for a day due to COVID. But it was still really fun, and I really enjoyed it.
I thoroughly enjoyed my time at Parkwood School. It was probably one of the better things I did growing up.
In primary school I loved it. I had lots of friends. I distinctly remember quite a lot of the teachers. It was a really good time.
It was like a big, long, happy ride, I guess. That sounds a bit weird, but it was. It just the fun didn't really stop. It was all really enjoyable. It was just such a laugh.
They had good grounding here. The staff worked hard and they liked the children, and that shows. So I think being a happy school, the children went on to, like you, they made the choice they wanted to make and enjoyed it when they were there.